The Bible says, we faith generation. Hey, hear how I put it. We faith what? Are you a generation of faith? I can't hear you. I can't hear you. We generation of faith. We do not walk by sight. We do not walk by. But because we are a generation of faith, we walk by faith. Are you hearing me? Because faith has the ability to see what is beyond the wall. Wall. You know what? I can't hear the church. I can't hear the church. These people, Moses dies. And after Moses died, the Bible says God visits Joshua. And he says to Joshua, commission the Israelites to prepare themselves to cross the Jordan River. Do you see that naturally they never had sight of the land? Are you there? But every time they looked at the promise, they saw the land within the promise. Because God's promises are pregnant of events. Do you know what I mean by events? The promise of God. He said, I am thy Lord that healeth thee. Do you see that it's a promise? It's a what? But it's a promise that carries within it an event called what? Say healing. I don't even hear you. So now, when they crossed the Jordan River, they did not actually see the promised land naturally. And even after crossing the Jordan River, the Bible says they found walls of Jericho. They could not see the land physically, because by then only 2 people had seen the land. Remember the other 12 spies who went to spy the land. The Bible says when they brought a wrong report, the 10, they were swallowed by death. So only Joshua and Caleb crossed the Jordan River. So they were the only 2 who saw the land. But the rest, they only saw the promise. Do you see the whole thing here? Do you see the whole thing here? So can you see that naturally it appeared as if there was absolutely no land? As I'm talking to you, when you look at your career, it may seem as if there is no sign of promotion. I don't need a sign of a promotion. I am carrying the promise. Are you hearing me here? Are you hearing me? So when they crossed the Jordan River, the Bible says here, God then said to Joshua, tell the Israelites to march around the walls of Jericho. When they were marching around the walls of Jericho, they never had a glimpse of the land naturally, because the land was surrounded by walls. The only thing they were seeing and hearing at that time was the promise, and they saw the land within the promise. So when you look at the word, you can see the promise within the word, because the word himself is but the promise guarantor. Jesus is the guarantee of the promise, because he is the word. Every time you look at the word, you are looking at Jesus. And every time you see life through Jesus, then you see your solution. Every time you look at the word, you are looking at who? I can't hear you. And every time you see life through Jesus, then you are seeing the word. Solution. Say, every time I look at life through the word, I'm looking at life through Jesus. And every time I look at life through Jesus, I'm looking at the solution.